Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Vayomanasa Sanjeevani Monday webinar series. Today, topic of the day is technology using elderly. To talk about this, we have Mr. Balaji Srinivasan with us. I welcome Mr. Balaji Srinivasan to the session. And hello, am I audible?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you are audible. I'm sorry, I was putting on mute. Yeah.
Yeah. Welcome, sir. And today's moderator for the session is Mrs. Annie Matthew. For introducing her, she is a student counseling psychologist and currently doing MSc and she is doing interns with NIMHANS also. I welcome Mrs. Annie Matthew to the session. Welcome, ma'am. And I also welcome Dr. B.T. Shivkumar sir to the session. And I also welcome all the YouTube and Zoom participants to the session. On to you, ma'am. This is Annie Matthew.
Thank you, Lima, for that kind introduction. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
A very good evening and a warm welcome to everyone present on the forum today. Respectable Mr. Balaji Srinivasan sir, Dr. Shivkumar sir, and my friends at Vayomanasa Sanjeevani project of NIMHANS, and every participant who's present here today, a very warm welcome to all of you for today's session of our Geriatric Public Health Awareness Webinar series. We wish to sincerely thank you for taking time out of your daily schedule to be part of this webinar. Like Gina mentioned, I have the privilege of introducing our speaker of the day. However, just before that, I would like to throw some light on the topic of the day by sharing a small glimpse into the life of my father-in-law. Now, my father-in-law lives with us. He is a 76-year-old retired bank manager who was also a pastor in the church. He used to preach and teach very passionately for many years. 4 years ago, he had a sudden illness, which was quite serious, and it almost reduced him to a vegetable kind of a stage. However, God had mercy on him and healed him, and he's able to resume doing his personal chores after a long period of rehabilitation, a lot of physiotherapy, etc. Due to his illness, however, he was not able to stand and teach for a long time like earlier because he felt weak in his legs or he lacked confidence to stand for a long time. Once COVID happened and almost everything moved on to Zoom and Google Meet platform, he was able to resume taking his teaching sessions right from the comfort of his house, sitting on a chair. All that is a great story, yes. But what I wanted to highlight here is how technology has come to the rescue of an elderly person who still wants to continue the work he was so passionately doing, but is unable to do so because of ill health or weakness. With that anecdote, I think I have been able to set the stage for today's talk. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce Mr. Balaji Srinivasan, our speaker of the day, to all of you. Mr. Balaji Srinivasan graduated from Indian Institute of Science and worked with multinational companies like HP and Lucent Technologies. He has rich experience in diverse aspects of software product development and is playing a key strategic leadership role that involves innovation. He is respected for his creativity, energy, and discipline. He loves coaching and works with total integrity. He stands for what is right and helps people around him to practice good human values. Mr. Balaji is a natural communicator and has given motivational talks in various institutions and offices. He has a good sense of humor and believes people need to be happy even when they do difficult work. He likes to use gadgets and that are useful and simplify daily chores. At present, he is working as an engineering director at Ojas Cybersecurity Limited in Bangalore. Let us all warmly welcome Mr. Balaji Srinivasan as he takes the virtual dais now and shares from his vast knowledge and experience with us. Over to you, Mr. Balaji. Thank you.
Yes, thanks a lot. Thanks for the warm introduction. And then I feel very honored and privileged to be here. And I was touched when you said a very religious person like your father-in-law went through hardship. And then though there was weakness in his health, but his will to serve people never disappeared. It's a lesson for me when I heard that. I was really moved and touched. And I'm sure people who are here, first of all, my namaskarams to all these people. They all, endeavored, they worked hard, because today's generation is fairly in a lot of comfort, but for brief episodes of COVID, etc. But when you talk about 60s, 50s, and 40s, when some of the seniors, gentlemen who were there, just after freedom, India had so many hardships, and it was not easy. And they would have worked very hard, and then they would have brought up their children, and some of them may be living with their children, some of them may be children are abroad, and then they are living in their places, and some of them are living in with other friends as well. So it's very important for them to be loved and respected, and I'm sure as a society which is caring, India will definitely rise up to it and then do its best. Having said that, technology is not far behind. Today, a lot of us are very comfortable. In fact, a ma'am was telling about her father was not able to walk, but still he wanted to continue his speech. And guess what? Like something like Zoom or some other Teams kind of stuff helped him. And he was able to probably reach much more people than he would have reached in a particular church or something. Because when you talk about something good, I'm sure there'll be a lot of audience, and then virtualization and this presentation from home and all this have really helped in the very difficult times. And doctors also used it. NIMHANS has a Telemanas kind of program, and wherein some of the junior doctors can take help from very senior psychiatrists and neurologists and others. So there is going to be huge potential in all these areas. And I would certainly share some of the gadgets, a little later when the main presentation comes. And once again, a warm welcome to everyone. Yes, ma'am. Hello.
So you can continue, sir.
So my slides, are they there? Somebody can put that there. I will share the slides, or should we share the screen? How is it actually? Made some set of slides.
Gina?
Yeah, I will share with you. One second.
Please, please. I'm not yet seeing the slides. Hello.
Yeah.
Are you able to open them? It was
Yes,
Microsoft.
sir. Yes, sir. I'm trying to open.
You can close the other windows and on the PPT and keep it.
One
There are
second.
a lot of
sir.
other windows are there.
Now you.
So once he is made a co-host,
Your desktop,
make him co-host.
your screen is visible, but I think the PPT you are not opened.
Yes, sir. I opened here.
Maybe you stop share and again do it again.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I
Sir.
think your email is coming.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Sure.
As a co-host, he can himself share, sir.
Yeah, I made him co-host.
No, co-host. Therefore, that will be the best way.
Now able to see, sir?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Super. Okay.
You can expand it.
Yeah.
Are you able to hear me, everybody?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. So the topic for the day is how technology is helping elderly and how it's going to have further promise. So that's the topic, and I'll be covering that. Next slide, please. Yes. So technology helps people to communicate, collaborate, transact digitally, and get most things done sitting at home. And we all know the COVID epidemic wherein we were able to still make our life comfortable. We were able to buy things, we were able to transact online, thanks to digitization. Even students and others were having classrooms, teachers were allowed to go. And then even doctors, for example, my wife is a psychiatrist, so she was having only online consultations through WhatsApp and Zoom and all these things. So a lot of areas where there could be collaboration, all that happened. And this is very essential. In fact, communication is a very powerful tool. Long back, transportation was very essential because we had to go to a place to make to attend a meeting. Today, a lot of you are sitting in the comfort of your places and then still seeing this. And that way, the transportation is avoided. So what's the advantage of that? We are actually saving the fuel, right? Otherwise, we would have to be traveled in person. I am also sitting at my home office and communicating from here. So communication that way has been a very positive thing. Are you able to hear me, or is there any noise? Hello?
No, sir.
So better to mute everyone, sir.
Yeah, except me, mute others. Thank you. Right. There are also things, for example, day before yesterday, there was an episode wherein somebody had some cramps in the night, and then immediately they were well informed. He was my IT colleague. His wife had a problem in the night, and then he was able to book the appointment, and then people were able to come to his house and take the blood samples, and they were able to diagnose, and they said thyroid is fine, but then you have vitamin D deficiency, and everything was given. So all these were not possible before. No matter how tired you are, you still need to visit the hospitals. But for the standard procedures today, for the elderly, there is definitely help. And then a lot of things, there are websites, and then there are safe. Those things are also certified, actually. This is a good clinic, and then if you go to this 1mg or whatever, they are good. So we are well informed today, and that's very great, and that's possible through communication. Plus, we all interact with our friends. I can tell you, I passed out from Indian Institute of Science in the year 1988. And for quite some time, we were not talking to my friends. I was one of the few people who stayed in India, but most of my friends went to US. So they've been professors, scientists, or engineers, or entrepreneurs. But we were able to again connect back 6-7 years back using WhatsApp. So we had animated conversation, we discussed, and then we also create other groups of interest. I'm sure a lot of you who are seniors, you can still connect to your classmates, and that's a great feeling. You know, the brain, something I'm talking, I know that, I am teaching the choir here, NIMHANS people are there. Brain has a lot of associative memory. For example, if I go to my past, if I talk about some of the things, what I did, the silly and stupid things, or the happy things, or the achievements, along with my friends, my brain's other parts also get triggered. So one of the good ways to do is reminiscences, actually. Okay, so this is possible when you are sharing the past, especially the pleasurable experiences. So I would request people to still feel young and then talk to your friends. That's the best way to feel young. Otherwise, they always say, hey, you are elderly, you are this. That's fine. But by mind, we should always be cheerful. And it's certainly possible when we talk to our friends and then we still go back to the childhood days. I feel that I'm almost 57 now. Now, I'm sure some of you are a little senior to me also feel the same way, right? So these things are possible through technology, which would have been impossible otherwise. Otherwise, we have to wait in the airport, look at the friend, he will come once in 3 years. Now, all that is not required. If we need, we simply connect, NADA conference, we share our views. That's a great thing, right? Having said that, we are not simply at communication. There are plenty of things which are happening in the area of medicine. You must have heard of Elon Musk, who is trying to do a lot of innovation. One of the things is he's talking about some kind of a chip and artificial intelligence. And then they want to see how people can gain vision, how they can improve their hearing, etc. We may be far off from there, but after some time, a bionic man or the organs which are intelligent, already bionic eye has been tested. So those kind of things are going to be very much possible. Then there are other areas in technology, which is like precision medicine, wherein the chemotherapy doses can be precisely given at a targeted site, especially for cancer and others. That way to avoid the side effects and also maximize the potential. When you target a particular portion of the cells or whatever the mass, what happens is actually other places are not getting affected. and you can just need an optimal dose. Otherwise, to reach that particular place, when you have to cross so many barriers, you may need to put more dose, and that creates more problems. So there are areas like that. Then there are gene therapies, there are immunotherapies, multiple such things. There are also nodes which are going to have, and that way there is going to be plenty of things. Plus there are self-diagnostics today, and definitely that's going to be a great thing, right? There are daily core assistants and also personal hygiene needs. So I'm going to talk about some of the simple things which we are having, and just pardon me just a minute. I'll just yes. So we will talk about that, some of the assistance and personal hygiene needs. Okay. Can we go to the next slide, please? I think people are saying that they are not able to see my video. Is there a way? Should I turn it on, or it will automatically come?
See, you will have to turn it on, sir.
I will have to. Okay, where is that?
I have no problem.
Bottom left corner.
Bottom left. Okay. Oh, here. Yeah. Start video. Correct.
It was
So
coming.
just click on it once.
Able to see?
No, sir.
No, not getting on.
Right.
Yes. I think
Able to see?
no, it is automatically. I think it is getting off again.
Yeah.
Is it?
So this is some technique for elders.
No, sir.
Some, I think, technical issues there. I think you are not given permission to connect.
So for me, it is everything is perfect.
Okay. That's okay. We can live with my slides, right? That's okay. Later we can try to see. So we'll not lose time.
Yeah.
So one of the first things I want to talk about is a great thing which a lot of people like. Today in the world, we can get even a software engineer for a work, but we cannot get reliable, housemaid or somebody, right? It's very difficult in a place like Bangalore, or I'm sure most of you who live in metros can say that for you. Even if they are there, they won't come regularly. They allow some reasons and everything. So a lot of times, when we have younger people, they tend to take care of the house cleaning, etc. But when you have some back problem, or when you are really tired, it's very important for you to have some kind of a robotic floor cleaner. And there are different ranges. Quite a few companies are there. So when I put here, please don't think that I am only endorsing this company. There are other good brands as well. But what I have seen is Milagro robots have been there for quite some time. And then they have got something pretty well automated. For example, there is a charging socket. So this robot will travel, go back, and then get itself charged. Plus, this robot also can help you to take care of the wet cleaning also. So there are options, and then there are some other cheaper ones, a little more inexpensive, the same one, which can actually be controlled through remotes. They have some, you can give them commands, but this one is heavily automated. There is a lot of artificial intelligence. So a bit of artificial intelligence, what it does, there are a lot of sensors when you talk about it, right? A lot of you who would have done engineering may know what a sensor is, but sensor is essentially something which will measure something or which will feel something, right? So there can be pressure sensor, or there can be, some sensors of pattern, right? For example, it knows what's a regular floor and then what's piece of paper lying. So if they're able to make a discrimination using its
teenage citizen ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಏನೋ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ನಾನು ಇವಾಗ
excuse me, can you mute? Hello, can somebody mute please? Hello. Okay, sorry.
Muted, sir, muted.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what happens is actually there is pattern recognition, and there is also movement. It knows actually where there is a wall, what it should do, and all that stuff, right? So it knows, it will have a determined algorithm, and then it will keep traversing through the whole floor, and then it will clean everything, and then it will go back to its charger. That's a kind of thing what has already come up, and that's one of the robots is what I'm showing here. Later on, you can take this and click on the link, or you can go to Amazon. See, whatever I've shown here, they are mostly available in India. So if you go to Amazon, Flipkart, Chroma, or even go to a shop, or some of your children can take you to some place, you can find and you can select. And they cost you from 10K to 50K, 1 lakh, various ranges you have them. So based on your affordability, you'll be able to get more comfort. So this is one of the very useful thing, and it also makes the house keep clean, and then you also feel better because your house needs to be cleaned on a regular basis, because hygiene is very important. And that way, I think robotic cleaner definitely should be in top of the list if you are thinking of a gadget. Yeah, next slide, please. Hello, next slide.
Lima.
Yes. Okay, this is second. So next slide is about personal hygiene. It's very important for us to have personal hygiene. I'm sure a lot of you are very clean and then very tidy and very disciplined, right? So nevertheless, it is also important when we feel very weak, or when we don't pay enough attention to health, we have some other issues, or some of our elderly brother or somebody is having issues, they can definitely be helped by these products. So one of the things is electronic toothbrush. This electronic toothbrush, there are again multiple brands, but Oral-B is very established one. And then this takes some charging time, but it's very quiet compared to some cheaper ones. Then there is charging stand, and which makes that it doesn't fall down. And there is long battery life. There is also interactive built-in display within the brush itself. And they have AI technology. They can connect to Bluetooth. They have pressure sensor. By that, what they mean, it's very important for you to know about pressure sensor. You should not apply. See, when you do it yourself, right, you know where there is teeth, the hard enamel, and then where there is gum. Think of automation. Automation also should be able to understand that this is teeth where I have to apply a little more pressure, whereas this is a soft part of the teeth, I have to be a little more careful, whereas this is gum, I have to massage it in a very, very gentle way. So this is something absolutely essential for you. What's happening? It's moving forward. Hello? Can you go back? Somebody is doing something in the slide. We have to go to that brush. Brush is over? Yes. So this is a pretty good application, and it does actually complete cleaning. One of the very important things those of you should know is, if we have germs in the mouth, and if there is a buildup of some of the bacteria and others, quite possibly they can go to travel to heart, and they can even trigger an attack. So never ignore your dental health, because a lot of the gateway to disease is actually quite often not cleaning, or not flossing, or not taking care. So if you can afford, once in a while go to a dentist and get things done, but daily brushing, especially 2 times a day, is essential. Who can afford, definitely they can try this electronic toothbrush. It's supposed to be doing its job in a very effective way, much more than what we can do otherwise. Next slide, please. This is a great thing, though a lot of you are familiar. Previously, we used to have a ritual of taking a blade and then using a razor, and then quite often we get cuts. Plus, when we get shaky hands due to some health reasons or something, we are even worried about not shaving. And now, quite often, I have seen seniors used to go to the nearby saloons, but COVID time proved us that we can't go to saloon. So that time, what do you do, right? So there, you still need to shave for yourself, and that is where quite often it's very safe for you to go for an electric shaver. There are very good brands. I use Philips. There is also this Bronze Series 9 shaver, which is very sophisticated, which is more expensive, but then it's very sensitive, because when you are an elderly person, you can't tolerate the cuts and wounds that easily, because your skin is sensitive, and you have to be very careful. So always go for very good brands if you want to do them, and then if you can afford, it's very good. Otherwise, Philips is also equally good. But my suggestion is, actually you can look at a good shaver. It's a very helpful thing, and it stays for long. Actually, it takes for a few years, it will stay. After that, you can change that. So if anybody want to give a gift, I think this is one of the very good gifts to give to a senior. And it's again available in all the shops. Thank you. Next slide, please. I need to we can handle that later, the questions. Some of it I need to figure out and get back. May not be immediately possible, but I will certainly tell you what is generally available, right? So there are questions about, is there a phone with a loud noise and all that? Why do you want to do that? We rather need to have a hearing aid. We'll come to that. So the one more thing which is actually very popular is pill dispenser. Lot of us, as we grow world, I'll be very happy if you don't take medicine. But then quite often when we have hypertension or any of these issues, we do have need for medicine. Then sometimes we get lifestyle diseases like diabetes. Then there can be some other indigestion related medicine or something else they give for some other problem. So quite often we need to take the dosing very regularly. And then normally people remember, but then when they are having some other memory issue or Alzheimer's or whatever, they may not be able to remember. So those times, actually, there are pill dispensers wherein caregiver can put all these pills, and then there will be alarms, and then there will be dispensing of medicines. So one such thing is this Easy Med Pill Dispenser. It is available in Amazon. It's available in other cards also. 28 days capacity it can have. And this is something you can clean with your alcohol with a simple cloth. So this has been used heavily. Quite often this is used in old age homes and others which are sophisticated. But if you want to have one, there is no harm. There is also Med Center 31. This is another alternative. 31 days it gives very similar pricing. I think about 15K you will be able to get this. Then there is something more expensive which is not easily available. You get it from the US, but once in a while you will get it in Amazon in India. Medacube, it can store for 90 days. So this is another useful thing for elderly people. If they forget to take medicine, they can rely on this. Ideally, I would say you always keep a diary and then daily religiously check your diary and then do that. That can avoid some of this forgetting. So that disciplined way of putting in diary and reminder is good. If you're not able to do it for some reason, these dispensers can definitely help. Next slide, please. Can you go to next slide? Hello.
1 second, sir. It's some technical glitches in between them.
Okay. Maybe next time I'll directly come there. That's better. I think.
Yeah.
I thought it will be easier. Sorry about it.
Yeah. Okay, sir.
So this is the next one.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir. This one. I will check.
Yes. So this is something personally my favorite. I was very skeptical about using iron box. I always used to give it to outside laundry, and whenever I tried, right, men used to have these jeans. Then we have some nice shirts, everything. So if you forget to do the proper setting, quite often the softer ones take the hit, and also the things like jeans don't get ironed properly. Now this one, for quite some time I was not knowing what to do, so I always religiously gave it to somebody outside who was taking it. And then finally when my wife went to Korea, there she saw this, and she saw in a hotel. She said, Balaji, there is a smart iron, why don't we use something like that? And that was from Philips, she said. Then I was able to detect it in India, and then it's available for about 7,000 rupees. I'm using it for the last little more than 2 years, and it's very good. And the good thing about it is it's a steam iron box, and it has sensors. It will auto adjust. It somehow knows by some technology that it's a soft cloth, it's a silk, or it is a rough shirt or rough pant or whatever, and it appropriately adjusts the temperature. As the result, what happens? It is able to iron without a problem, not giving a burn. And also, even if you keep for quite some time, let's say you forget, suddenly you get a call, you will leave it on the fabric also, it doesn't go down. Okay, it doesn't burn. So that safety is there. And for a little more price, normal iron boxes cost you about 2,000 rupees, but this is about 3 times that rate. But if you really want a very want to look very very tidy with a well pressed pant and shirt, and also women also can use the same thing for their saree and other things, this will be one of the choices. So I don't know whether there are alternatives or not explored it, but I really recommend you to buy this because I myself can testify for it's very beautiful and very useful. Thank you. Next slide. Yeah. So this foot, cough and leg massages, some of you who go to this 5-star hotels would have seen it. And there are quite often we feel sore and then we are not able to walk, but we really want some kind of massaging, right? So far about 25,000-30,000 kind of rupees, you are able to get such massages. And what I have put is a fairly good brand, which is there. And then they can even give heat if you really want to feel relaxed a little more. And when you can't go to a massage parlor, you feel really somebody should take care of you. If you're living all by yourself as seniors, this is something which you can try. And probably there are trials available. You can go and see how it feels and then decide to buy. And this is one of the good things, which somebody can use if they want massaging at home, right? It also improves the blood circulation. There are enough benefits of massages. I don't want to get onto that. But if you really want a good massage, then there are automated options available. Next slide, please. This is very important. I have recently, my mother had a lot of issues. She stopped talking, okay? And she was just nodding her head. So I was worried. She was otherwise looking cheerful, but why she's not corresponding much? Then I talked to my wife, who happens to be a psychiatrist. Then my wife said, quite possibly she may have hearing issue. So then we went to an ENT specialist nearby my house, and who was able to find the last. My mother is about 82 or so, 83. So last 1 year back, we got her this hearing aid from Starkey. There are other brands, and one of the main worries she had is whether it will uniformly amplify all the sound. But this one actually, what they had, it actually has a lot of smartness built into it. It cancels the background noise, plus it doesn't amplify. It knows to differentiate between speech, normal speech, and something like your road noise or anything. So she is wearing it comfortably, and after that we could distinctly see she is not hesitant to reach to the phone when she calls us. So I would definitely recommend something like Starkey you can use. The model what she had was a little lower end, but here what I put is a little bit of the higher end there. So this is even better because it has a lot of other advantages. What are sorry, there's a repetition here. It has some add-on devices and then display. You can track the daily steps actually because you are wearing it, right? It is able to track your steps record, and it is able to monitor if you are doing vigorous activity also. And again, it's very important that it can actually, suppose we don't want any senior to fall, but there are times people fall for some reason. Maybe there is something temporarily they feel weak, or something benign, but nevertheless fall is something which people have to be careful. There was a situation wherein my uncle, who lived all by himself, went to a bathroom and then fell in the bathroom, and there was no help for him available for more than 2 hours. And then he had a head injury and was lying motionless. And finally, his wife, after coming back from sleep, she realized husband is not there. Then she found him actually in pool of blood, but luckily he didn't die. He had to go to hospital, and they had to treat him. But let's say that he had a hearing aid like this. As soon as there's a fall or something, there's an alert message to given different contacts. They should be able to immediately rush to the person's help. Quite often when somebody falls, maybe due to heart attack or anything, first aid is essential. And similarly, immediate intervention is essential. So that way, some of these ideas are very thoughtful. So you can always go to nearby ENT specialists. You can talk about this. They have these, hearing aids and then suggestions. There may be multiple brands. So a lot of us, it's a very common thing as part of the old age. Hearing impairment will happen. We become less social. And we also don't know, we'll shout more to, we think because others are not hearing us. But when we use a hearing aid, definitely we will be able to feel better. So I would suggest you to buy a good hearing aid these days. There's a lot of technology available. And whether you use the additional things or not, at least as a basic hearing aid, Starkey had been fabulous. So I would definitely suggest you to use this instead of putting loud volume mobile or anything, right? Because hearing is important. It is not just to talk to somebody, even to listen, even to be careful when some movement is there around your house, you need, hearing aid. So for your own safety, I would suggest if you are hearing impaired, never delay, take help from an ENT specialist. Next slide, please. So this, a lot of you might have known, some of your grandchildren or some of your health conscious sons, or some of you also, because I've seen a lot of fit elderly men near my house. I live in a place called Girinagar in Bangalore South, and I can see very feisty ex-army people and others very cheerfully, joyfully walking with their friends. I don't think so I can cope up with them walking. So kindly pardon me if I'm really prototyping you. A lot of you are very fit, and I'm sure you would like to monitor your health, and smart watches can help you. They can tell you how much you are walking. They say 10,000 steps if you walk, it is good for you. I remember Dr. Hegde, he said, if we can sit instead of lying down, sit. If we can stand instead of sitting, stand up. If we can walk instead of standing, walk. So walking fast is good enough. You don't have to strain yourself. These days, a lot of people work out in the gym quite often. There are cardiac episodes which happen, but walking is safe, and you should be able to have a long duration walking, daily 40 minutes walk. Everybody will recommend to you. And some days you may not be able to walk, still you can compensate. And even if you are not able to walk properly, you can use a stick and then walk slowly. Once in an hour, few minutes walk is always recommended. So anyway, these watches are actually going to just monitor, but they are not going to prod you to do this. Then there is a heart rate monitor also in that. It tells you how much heart rate. If there are anxieties, you'll know, for example, heartbeat will go up. Suddenly, if there is a insufficiency, then heart rate can go down. So that is very essential, right? And similarly, this saturation. A lot of you know about COVID, where there is saturation problem. In fact, a few years back, there was an issue for me. Doctor was finding it negative for COVID, but I had all the symptoms. Saturation went down. But I took a lot of confidence because my family was helping me. And I was the only thing which every 5 minutes I was using this SpO2, right? It became very very useful for me. I never even know what it was, but suddenly I had to get that and keep testing it out. And of course, thanks by God's grace, I'm talking to you because you know how fatal it was for a lot of people, right? And that time I realized the use of exercise. So after that, I started losing weight and then also trying to walk more. So I think walking is best. Never ignore it. It is not about a gadget. You see Gandhi, right? Gandhi was so fit despite having any of these gadgets. So maybe I'm talking something contradictory, but very, very essential for you to do daily things. Gadgets are useful, but do your crosswords, chat with your people, indulge in mental activities, play chess. It will all help you not to get Alzheimer's or other kinds of, it will reduce all these problems, right? Keeping a happy life and then very engaged way. You can teach children mathematics. A lot of you are very good in mathematics. Today, if you see, mathematics is not so much emphasized. They are very good in art and all that stuff. There are so many TikTok, all that mimicry is high, but talk about math, people run away. But abstract things, I think a lot of you seniors are good with. Even otherwise, some of you are not good with that. Nevertheless, you can still, recollect some of the historical novels and others. I think, have that active life. So activity tracker is very useful. Okay. So next slide. Yeah. So there are a few more things which I have not mentioned here. One of the things is actually wearables. There are issues wherein some of the people with dementia or children get lost. So there have been GPS-enabled devices which are around, which actually are very popular in the foreign countries. India, it's just coming last few years. So there are quite a few companies which are getting involved, and you can put it on people who have dementia or something. You'll be able to trace them. We need to do more work. I think NIMHANS also is trying to look at this. Soon, actually, that will be a boon for a lot of people, especially the caregivers for people who have dementia. Because quite often, every house almost, you will know, your extended families, somebody would have dementia, then they disappeared, they never came back, right? It's a very horrible thing. But so I think, that is essential. Also, GPS keeps things safe, actually. So there are more such innovations which are going to come. So this is something definitely we need to look for if we get into memory problem. Because it will help other caregivers at home or other places to track immediately the person, do the needed help. You can't reverse the brain, but you can at least make sure they are safe. Okay. Next, there are a few more things. You went to the, yeah. Please, last page, please. That yes. Yeah. Stay there. Then, day for yesterday, I saw a gentleman at home. Normally, we have at home AccuSense or something, where for checking the blood sugar, we make a prick and check, right? quite often there are people with needle phobia, though I don't have one. But there are other people I have seen, they are really afraid of using it. As a result, what happens? They don't go to diagnosis. So blood sugar can shoot up and we don't know what complications they rise, right? So one of the things which are coming nowadays is you have an implant once and then you have a meter and you can keep monitoring. So it's called MetaSense No Prick Glucometer. It's available in India, onecare.co.in. There can be other better brands also. Again, as I told you, I am not representing any of these companies. You can make your own choices. But remember that there is available because I've seen it actually working. So when somebody can monitor, they feel tired, they immediately check the glucose. They know actually there is hypoglycemia. It's going lesser because they take medicine. Then they take some biscuits or something. So it helps for you to be careful when you have this sensor with you. And talking about blood pressure monitor, I remember the Jayadeva, my wife told me that, Jayadeva chief was talking about blood pressure monitor, Omron for hose. Omron is a Japanese brand. And then I also have it at my home. My brother gifted it. We keep checking once in a while. And it is very helpful. Take the sit in a comfortable place, relax for some time, then take the second reading. First reading may not help, second reading. That's what they say. So then, of course, anything else, I'm not a doctor, so you should know if it's going more, doctor will tell you. But Omron is a good brand. There may be other good brands as well. Then more recently, I saw some cool thing, Prestige flip-on pressure cooker. A lot of us don't like the mess created at the home. This may not be an electronic gadget, but it's a very nice appliance which is there, wherein you are able to turn it and then remove it. So it's very easy for elderly people to use this. Okay, so the spillage control, it can really help. There is also an IoT enabled, Internet of Things enabled cooker, electric cooker, which is coming from Prestige. It will come to market, and they can control programs, and you can also set it to warming from a sitting at a place. For example, you don't feel like walking. Once you put the rice, right, you will be able to control, when it can switch off and all that, sitting at a place, and it will keep giving you information remotely through an app, which is there in your mobile. So these are the things which are actually quite often coming. There's also one more useful thing, which is called a control system. For example, for insulin, they call it artificial pancreas. This is really not artificial pancreas. There's an engineering contraption which is fitted to the body. They keep loading the insulin there, and then it will stay for a few days, and it will keep sensing. For example, we said, right, there is a MetaSense glucometer. So something like that senses the glucose, and then they know, okay, there is a time for us to send a little more insulin, they send it. So they keep polling, they keep checking once in few minutes and then keep adjusting it. But this, what it makes sure is it will keep the level optimum. What is required is what it will give. Let's say blood sugar goes down a little more than expected, then it will not give the dose for quite some time. It will release the insulin only after some time. So when people are having type 2 and type 1 diabetes, that is very useful. So this is another thing which I wanted to talk when we talk about gadgets. So overall, I think this is what I had in my talk, and there may be more, but I covered what I have seen as important, what personally I've seen quite a few people elderly around me using. And thanks for this opportunity. And once again, namaste to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. That was a beautiful and extremely informative presentation. I'm sure most of us had our aha moments when we learned of new gadgets available in the market that can help make the lives of our elderly citizens much easier. A smart hearing aid that cancels outside noise, sends an alarm to emergency contacts if in case they have a fall, an electronic maid, if I may call it so, for for the robotic floor cleaner that you said, etc. Simply wow! I mean, there are so many things available today in the market. Thank you so much, sir, for sharing all of this with us. We'll now open the floor for questions. Participants can unmute themselves and ask the questions directly to the speaker, or you can put it on chat and I will ask them to sir. I have already received a couple of questions. Can I go ahead with that first?
Please.
So one of the first questions were, is there a mobile phone device with big buttons and loud volume for people with listening problem?
There are, and I can send it a little later. Is that possible? But there are phones which are for senior people, especially who are lightweight but still have large buttons. But brands and others right now I don't have, but I will definitely undertake to send it to NIMHANS, and then from there you can share. But it is there.
Sure, sir. Thank you.
And there are also alarm buttons, SOS kind of thing, right?
Yes.
Those things are possible also. If you feel threatened, you can press the button. So typically for seniors, the sense of feeling of safety also is important. So
Yes.
that way, it's very essential for them to have these devices. So I agree. I should have put this here. I'll correct my slides. Thanks for the feedback.
Sure, sir. Thank you so much. So another question that came in when you were discussing the smartwatch, technology to locate seniors away from home.
Correct.
Is there a watch that can that is suitable for that?
I need to explore. There are gadgets which are available, but quite often, right? The gadgets can give you need other sensors to give a beep sound. You've seen, for example, simple thing, right? When you go to a shop, when you go to a shop to buy clothes have some magnetic sensors. Then when you suppose somebody tries to steal, that sensor is not removed, then there is a sound, right? Similar principle is there, right? So when people are going beyond a particular radius, somebody with dementia patients, there should be alarms and others, but you need software systems for it. So that is possible. I think it is there in advanced countries. How much of it is there in India, we need to know. In fact, that question came from Dr. Vijay Kumar today to me. So there are wearable devices which can help us to track them, the beeps and others, but it can be connected to a software and they can do much more. There's some creativity is required. For example, you should be able to even find out their movement pattern also. There should be more machine learning. So there's huge research scope, but we'll try to exactly answer a very simple thing of when somebody goes beyond a round zone first, how they can be, somebody else can be alerted. Let's say NIMHANS also it treats patients. So this problem we have to solve and we will be able to solve it soon is my hope. But yes, there are available, whether they're in India or not, I'm not very sure. Gadgets are there. Integrated solution is what we look for, customized for a particular healthcare need or a particular home need, that we need to still investigate. But GPS enabled devices are there, they can locate the patient. But quite often you should get alarm, because when do you look? You normally don't bother, correct? Let's say I'm in office, somebody as my father or somebody just going out, right? He's living all by himself. I won't know. So even if the beep comes, how immediately I'll give importance. So quite often the beep should go to multiple people, somebody nearby, whatever. That way it will reduce the possibility of somebody not, ignoring it. Then you'll know. Sometimes, somebody can remove it also from them. Correct?
Yes.
Just for curiosity or just somebody thief, he wants to sell it. So those things and all we need to solve. Yeah. It's a long answer, but I think, yeah, we need to evolve. Yeah. Yes,
seniors,
yes,
going away in auto or taxi like that.
Correct, sir.
We cannot locate. If the driver is misbehaving,
Correct,
either
sir.
with senior ladies or the ladies or children, even students, senior
Correct,
citizens, there are cases. GPS is with him, but how to locate the seniors when
GPS,
they are in trouble?
Yeah. See, there is actually, even now, if you give a mobile, right? If somebody is traveling, you will be able to locate. There is a GPS option enabled in all the smart mobiles. So let's say that, my daughter is going somewhere, right? You can enable, there are tracker applications which are available. I will be able to track where the person is. You should be able to do that. But she has to keep that GPS on. Then it is possible.
Oh, yes. That thing is very, very correct.
GPS on. In fact,
the
if you go to...
the passenger has to on GPS.
Correct. Passenger has to
Otherwise,
on the GPS.
We cannot link with them.
Correct. One thing is, when you go through this Ola, Uber and all, there is a way to track also. Correct. Because typically how much time they're supposed to reach a particular place. So that way you will be able to call up Ola or something and they'll be able to find out also. And then they can also see the route. For example, I go from here to some other place near Electronic City. It is about 22 kilometers. If he is deviating, I'll know the path beyond a level. Correct. Those things are possible. So, but having a mobile is useful there.
But one thing, the senders have to watch. The passenger is going for a hospital or shopping.
Sir,
how to
you can
monitor
check,
by the sender, son, daughter, or grandchildren like that.
Anytime they feel threatened, there are options for women and others in Bangalore. And there are some numbers which they can call. And, they have to be sufficiently sensitized about it. If that is something you can probably get from, NIMHANS and others. There are apps which is made by Karnataka government. I'm sure Tamil Nadu or any other government also is having this, right? So we will be able to get immediately help. The nearby police station will be alerted. Let's say that somebody is in distress in some place in Pallavaram, then somebody nearby there, they can help immediately. Within few kilometers, the police will be alerted. So those things are possible. There are apps by government also. Plus, even if you say mobile, right? If we don't have a GPS, approximately we can always locate, sir. How the crimes and all are detected, no? See, I'm a telecom engineer myself. Okay. So what happens is the signal, I can keep checking. There are a lot of towers, sir. One tower to another tower will keep traveling, right? Last, when somebody snatched the mobile, let's say, that place we will know definitely, because that is something your provider can get that information. So that is how a lot of crimes are also cracked, actually.
Yes, first they are snatching the mobile only.
They will
then
snatch.
They are manhandling. They are getting the valuables from the person.
Yeah. One thing what he can do, you can have some kind of a GPS enabler or some other mobile tied somewhere inside without them knowing. Have a dummy mobile outside, you can do that also, just to hoodwink. It is depending on your smartness, actually. Correct?
Yes.
They will not know. They'll think you have only one mobile. That you can do.
We have to send messages to the relatives, friends. I am going in the vehicle.
Absolutely,
number
you should
and
inform.
like that.
It's a very good. In fact, even now, I always check with my daughter. If she's coming late, I say, when have you started? When have you boarded? Also note down. For example, you have every right to take photo of that auto or taxi you are boarding. Typically, auto is safer if you can go. Taxi is closed now. Auto is at least open, right?
Yes.
So I suggest actually auto, though it doesn't look very comfortable. But take the photo of the number and all, right? And sometimes what you should know is some of the criminals will ask somebody else to come and sit with you. Never allow that. Immediately get down from the auto.
Yes. Lifting.
So these are basic
lifting.
precautions, but you have to follow. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. More questions, please, if there are.
So we have one on the chat. It's a little technical. How can we create space in our mobile phone when the device starts saying internal storage space is running out?
Okay, so that is fairly straightforward, madam. Quite often what happens, there is enough space in modern smart mobiles. What we do, we keep a lot of videos. We download a lot of content. We never bother to clean them. So one simple thing to do is, typically more than photos, ma'am, the videos, they cost a lot of space. First thing what you do, clear the videos, right? You can always get them from somewhere else. Quite often as Indians, we like to keep a lot of things, right? We don't let go of few things. If you look at US people, I've been in the US for some time. So they are very practical and they're very pragmatic. They don't bother about it. But we like to keep things, the accumulation, right? The sense of security it gives even for a video or anything is very high. So once in a while, you should clean it up. Otherwise, what will happen? It will come to a crisis moment. And also, you can keep only few photos which are relevant for you, right? There is a cloud space which is available, which you can get. If you are using Gmail and all, there you can store also and then clean the rest. But my suggestion is clean the videos and then remove some old documents or whatever it is, it will be fine. Typically go for a 128 GB storage mobile. My suggestion is that. Nowadays 256 is coming a little more expensive. 128 GB mobile is definitely useful for you, because remember one thing, our grandchildren, our children, others, they flood us with so many videos, and videos take space. Hope that helps what I said.
So thank you. Vimala ma'am, I hope that helped. She has one more question actually, where she says, if screenshots are saved to internal storage, when I transfer it to external SD card, then delete it from internal storage, then my data just disappears.
I don't know. I have to you have to go and check with the vendor of the phone, because normally it should not happen, right? There is no automatic cleaning software which is there. If we have put auto clean software, then that can happen. Okay, ideally you should not do that. We should check with the configuration and settings. It is different from case to case. For example, a good phone like Samsung, it doesn't happen, right? So buy from a good brand like Samsung or OnePlus. There are usually, I've been using OnePlus and somebody uses Samsung, somebody uses Apple. They don't have such issues. But some of the inexpensive phones may have some software, but we will not be able to do that. So buying a good phone helps actually, especially for senior people. It may not have all the features, but buy from a good brand. And then once in a while, you need to keep changing it, right? Recently, I'll tell you an incident, ma'am. There was my poor shopkeeper who comes and gives some grocery to me. He had some suspicious people who were near his shop, and they wanted to steal something. He could guess that. They wanted to board something without paying money from his grocery shop. So he somehow got the wind of it and alerted others, and then they scooted away. How he knew it? He saw the auto didn't have a number board. Okay. So then what he did, he said, I don't have a photo facility in my Nokia mobile. So finally, I had an old LG mobile, which my daughter upgraded to something else. So I promised her when she gets a PG, she gets a better phone. So she got a PG in some place. So I got her, and then this phone we retired. Then we gave it to him. Now he's very happy. He said, I could have had a photograph of these people. I would have got the criminals. That was his lament, actually. So always invest in a fairly good smartphone. That's my suggestion. Yeah. There was a raised hand from somebody. I saw.
Good evening, sir. This is Jambunathan.
Yes, sir.
Sir, good evening, sir. Thanks for very absorbing lecture on some of the very important tools that will be useful to us for especially the serious in our day-to-day life. So, but the major point, problem we get is that we are not able to find out which are all the, if you take any product from A to Z, you have got so many features in that. And we really do not know what is more important to us and what is not that much important. Say, for example, this you are talking about this smartwatch, OnePlus Nord smartwatch. You know, every third day you will find a beautiful advertisement, full-page advertisement in most of the newspapers about all kinds of smartwatches.
Correct, sir.
What exactly is needed and what is not needed? What are the?
So that's what, sir. What I have captured is the core features. There are phones for 50,000 rupees also. The phone, what I have shown you there is about 5,000 rupees. OnePlus Nord. That's good enough watch, sir. Basically, it will help you to measure your heart rate, and you should be able to check your activity, and you should check your SpO2. Basic things are enough. You don't need to go to too many complex things. Quite honestly, I don't wear a smartwatch, right? I don't wear a watch at all. In fact, I have my mobile. So a lot of times I use my mobile. But what I know is, I know to walk daily. I know to diet. There was a recent talk, right? The night, eat sparingly. Morning, you know, right? A lot of these places, morning eat like a Maharaja. And then afternoon, you take something like a middle class person. And night, you eat like a poor man. This is true, right? So that way, if we have our healthy lifestyle, some of these gadgets we need not bother about. So this is for people who like, with a fitness geek is there, somebody is walking marathon or all that. My friends who are fitness geeks, they love this. Okay, daily they go to, once in a month they go to mountaineering. They'll be finding it very useful. Okay. So it is not mandatory that you should need a smartwatch, sir. You are right.
No, I'm not making it that way, sir. See, but it's always better that we consult, some kind of.
Correct, sir. I will suggest, sir, very essential things I'll tell you. Definitely hearing aid if you think you have hearing impaired or you have eye difficulty. Because why I'm saying these are fundamental. You can't live without it. If you have a problem, I'll tell you, when this COVID times, I had a difficulty. Suddenly my eyes became blurry, sir. I was worried. I had a reading glass. But still, I was very anxious. Suddenly, what was going on? Then, as I told you, my guide is my wife, who is a doctor. So she consoled me and she said, nothing happened to you, man. You just go, you are getting old, and then you get it to diagnose. Then I had to go to a doctor who is a friend of hers. She did all the tests and they found that, there is some basic cataract started forming. Then they found astigmatism and other things. I thought only I had reading glass. Then I had to immediately go for it. After that, it helped me. Essentials are definitely hearing aids, sir, and the glasses. These are very essential, right? If you ask me what is essential, because these will save you. Suppose you don't see properly, you will fall down. Fall down for an elderly person, the bones can really be issue.
That's the biggest risk.
So hearing is definitely essential. You won't feel like socializing at all. My mother had that difficulty. Personally, I was very annoyed. I thought she's worried after my father's passing away, but she looked normal. She ate well and all that, but she was not speaking. Then we realized she had a hearing problem. She was shy to tell that outside. Correct. Best is stop communicating. So those are essential. That's my request. Which product you go for is entirely up to you, sir. But you have to use these things, definitely are mandatory. I'm not talking about smartwatch in the same light.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. It was very informative. The session was very informative. And see, we really do not today know what is that technology can offer to improve our life standard of living. I'm thankful to you for that, sir.
Thanks a lot, sir. Appreciate it, sir. My pranams to you, sir.
Pranams to you, sir.
Thank you, Jambunathan, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Anybody else? Any more questions? We've come to the end of our session. I don't think there are any more questions, sir. Once again, I'd like to thank you for taking so much initiative and passion to come and share with us, sir. Balaji sir, also each and every one of you who've been able to log in today. This itself is proof that we are using technology and we are helping ourselves. A big salute to all of you who are here today. I'm sure we can continue sharing the link with our friends so that they can join for the future sessions as well. I now hand over back to Lima to do the closing. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
My pleasure, sir.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you, Mrs. Annie Matthew, for moderating the session. And I would like to thank you, Mr. Balaji Srinivasan, for the wonderful and enticing session about technology use in elderly. And I also would like to thank all the Zoom and YouTube participants. And with that, I also would like to thank our partners, Government of Karnataka, Indian Psychiatric Society Karnataka Chapter, Karnataka State Legal Service Authority, Bangalore Apartments Federation, Happy 60 Plus, Samadhana Counseling Center, Icon Life Sciences, REC Foundation, and NSC Foundation. Once again, I thank you all. Have a good evening. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks everyone. Thanks very much. Yeah. Okay, you can close the call.